This is the separating mixture lab that we did last week. The data that we should have taken for day 1 is shown here. We saw that A was a white powder and B was a red powder. The mixture was reddish, which shows us that we definitely have B in this mixture, and A was hard to see, so this mixture was very evenly blended. That's going to help us in the future with interpreting what type of mixture we were looking at. When we looked at A and B in water in those test tubes, you should have noticed that it does not dissolve in water. Neither of them dissolve in water. That's going to be useful later when we're trying to identify the name of each of those substances. We also on day 1 observed the mixture in the flask with some solvent. It was the organic solvent. So we should have seen that we had a cloudy red mixture. The fact that it was cloudy and red makes me realize that the red substance B, component B, is not dissolved. And there's really no visible signs of A, so A is probably dissolved in that solvent at this point in time because you don't have any sign of it in the mixture. I'll flip the page here. We also took some data on day 1 and saw that when we finished filtering, the red powder was separated from the white mixture. It was on top of our filter paper, and we couldn't see substance A anymore, but since it's dissolved in the water, since it's dissolved in the solvent, which was actually an organic solvent, not water, it passes through the filter paper and it goes into the evaporating dish. And that mixture, that liquid mixture that we had in the evaporating dish, we call a filtrate. It was a colorless liquid. On day 2, we noticed that the red powder was now dry, so any solvent that had been absorbed into the paper had evaporated. And we also noticed that there shouldn't have really been much liquid solvent left in the evaporating dish either, and because the liquid solvent went away when it evaporated, as it evaporated, it left behind the solid that used to be dissolved in that solvent. So the solid that used to be dissolved is now white crystals, which looks a lot like what we saw in the test tube for substance A.